Okay, welcome back to another video on the E36. The polishing has been done, the paint is looking epic, it's come out so good, and now it's time to protect it. And when you're adding ceramic coating, you're adding gloss as well, so it's just going to make it look even better. So today we're going to put on our first coat of Crystal Serum Light, so G-Technic Crystal Serum Light, and then we're going to leave it overnight, and we'll come back tomorrow and put on the final coat of G-Technic EXO, and then this car is the exterior paint is done for a while at least. Yeah, super stoked about this. I think I've mentioned it many times in the last couple of videos, but yeah, this is exciting and super good. This video is probably going to be a little bit wordy. There's going to be a lot of talking. You can talk a lot about ceramic coatings, so bear with me there. But welcome along as we go through both coats, and we'll show you the final results at the end. So thanks for watching, and we'll yeah, let's get into this. Now, to begin with, the supplies that you need. So we're going to start off with our towels. We're going to want 2 towels. One towel for our initial cleaning of the paint. I like using our waterless wash towel. It's really fluffy, it's really soft. We've just polished and corrected our paint, so the last thing we want to do is now introduce scratches. So a towel that's really plush and soft, it's not going to scratch the paint. That's what we're going for there. Our next towel is going to be our coating removal towel. Now, once you've basically used this towel to remove your coating, you basically want to throw it out or use it for something that's not going to touch paint again. Once the ceramic coat's in this, when it crystallizes, it forms little pieces of glass. If you then run this towel over your paint after this has happened, you're just going to scratch it up. So with our coating removal towel, it's nice and soft, but it's not that expensive, so you can warrant using this once and then either throwing it away or using it for something else that's never going to touch paint, like a rag or whatever. But these towels are great. They do a great job of firstly removing the ceramic coat, because it's a low pile towel, but then it's not the end of the world. They only cost a couple of bucks each, so you can afford to bin them when you're done with them. Now, when we lay down that ceramic coat, we want it to be on a perfectly clean paint. For this, we're going to be using G-Technic panel wipe. This is pretty strong stuff. It's made up of alcohol and solvents that are really going to dissolve any of the polish residue that we've left behind. We want the ceramic coating to last as long as possible, so we want the paint to be as naked as it can, just to allow that ceramic coat to bond with the paint as best as possible. So this stuff, strong, but does a fantastic job, and just gives you that peace of mind that you know you're putting down the ceramic coating that isn't cheap, and you know it's going to last and do its best job. So panel wipes our next part. Now we move on to the coatings. I'm a big fan of this combo, so Crystal Serum Light and followed by a top coat of EXO. Crystal Serum Light is a consumer grade coating, so it's not a professional grade. Means that it's just super easy to apply. I mean, ceramic coatings can be scary, but this, you've got tons of time to basically put it on. You don't have to panic about whipping it off straight away. It doesn't get too tacky. You can basically do an entire hood, leave it for a minute, and then take it off without any issues. So not that scary compared to some coatings where if you get a high spot, you basically have to polish it, sometimes sand it off. When this, you're generally not going to get any high spots. As long as you do your due diligence around making sure that you wipe it off, you're not going to run into any issues. This is also my favorite consumer grade coating, just because it's the slickness that it gives the paint. I haven't found anything better. The paint just comes off so slick, it's unbelievable. And then when you pair it with your top coat of the EXO, the hydrophobic properties of EXO are unmatched, and it makes washing an absolute breeze. So that's why I use these two. I don't think there's anything better than these at the moment. So, and lastly, what we're going to use to apply the coating. The actual coating, the boxes themselves come with applicators, but I tend to like using suede rather than their little little pads. Their pads tend to break up a little bit, especially if you're going over some rough surfaces like trim and things, when suede applicator with a foam block. One, it's bigger, so it's faster, and also I've just got used to using this, and I think it's a great way to go. So we'll be using that, and that's basically everything that we're using today. Okay, now first step in the process is we're going to use our panel wipe to clean all the panels. Because this stuff is so strong, we're not going to apply it directly on the panel. We're going to spray it onto our microfiber towel first and then wipe it. You just don't want spray to go in onto areas where it shouldn't be, so spray a couple of sprays on your towel and we're just going to wipe it down panel by panel. Really no secrets, but you'll see the alcohols in this flash off really quick. So it's just leaving a beautifully clean surface. Does smell pretty strong, so do your best not to breathe it in. But we're just going to go panel by panel. You can see what it leaves behind is just super clean, exactly what we want. It's going to break down all those polishing oils. To leave us in a great spot. Again, these towels are super plush, super soft. Making sure that we're not putting any scratches on the paint. That's the last thing you want after spending hours and hours bringing this paint up to being perfect. The last thing you want is to put scratches in. So I'm going to work my way around the car and clean all the surfaces, and I'll see you back for when we put the coating on. Okay, now that we've wiped everything down with the panel wipe, it's time to get ready for our coating. You'll see when you open up the boxes it'll come with a few things, but there's your applicator pad. Like I said, I'm going to toss this and just use our suede applicator. I like it better. Nothing wrong with using this. I personally just like this better. And then in our box we have the dropper. Well, we obviously have the crystal serial light, your instructions, and the dropper. It'll also come with a couple of gloves. I tossed these as well. Those gloves don't tend to fit my hands very well, so I have just a general pack of nitrile gloves that I use for when I'm applying the coating. You do want to use gloves. This stuff you don't want to get on your skin, so we'll glove up and then get ready to go. So to begin with, we've got our applicator ready. We're going to put about 5 or so drops on it just to start things off. Get it nice and sort of primed. You want a decent amount on this first part, and then we're basically just going to add a couple of drops each time to reapply it. But one little tip, make sure you put the lid back on each time you finish with the bottle. Two options: either there's nothing worse than knocking this over and spilling it everywhere, because I mean they aren't cheap, and also you don't want anything to get inside there like dust or things like that. So pop the lid back on, you can be safe, make sure you're good to go. Right, now we're ready to apply it. We're going to work in quite large sections, because when you first start, welcome to do small sections, but we want to give this a decent time to dwell on the paint. You'll notice when it's ready to be taken off, it'll kind of blister. That's when we know we're ready. Because this is so workable and has it's so easy to work with, you're going to be comfortable doing the whole bonnet and then taking it off. So you want to work in a methodical way so you don't miss anything. So we're going to start with, I normally go panel by panel, so we'll do the entire bonnet, then we'll do the fender, we'll do a door, and we'll just slowly work our way around the car. But you want to work in a crosshatch pattern, so we're going to basically go, we'll do this piece all in vertical lines first. And then we'll go horizontal. So this just makes sure we're not missing any parts, like missing any lines. And then we'll start with this section. I'll probably go to about halfway. So you'll be able to tell that it'll start sort of drying out, so that's when you just need to know you need to reapply. So we'll reapply a couple of drops and carry on. But consumer coatings these days are nothing close to as scary as they used to be with the pro grade coatings that would only be installed by a professional installer. These are really easy to use. We'll do our verticals. Another reason why I like the suede applicator is that for these small areas we can take it off and really get into those areas, rather than with the applicator pad that comes with the box. You can't really get into those areas like this as well, so one of the benefits of the suede. Get into all those tight little gaps with it. We'll just continue to this bonnet. You basically don't want to apply this and then wipe it off straight away. You do want to get it a little bit of time, give it time to bond with the paint. So that's why I find doing a whole panel is normally just a good amount of time to then rub it off. If you decide to push it, you'll figure out the kind of limits. It'll start, if you take a little bit too long to wipe it off, it'll start becoming tacky and take a little bit of effort. If that is the case, and you'll find that you can't wipe it off, just reapply it straight away and then pull it off immediately. But it's almost as easy as just wiping on a wax and buffing it off. It's not too hard at all. Beautiful, so that's our bonnet done. Okay, now that we've done the whole panel, it's ready to buff off. We want to use the 2-towel method, so 1 towel initially followed by a 2nd towel. This just makes sure that you get all the areas. Again, it's a pretty relaxed coating in terms of buffing it off, but you don't want to miss any areas. If you leave it to cure, well then you'll see it, so you'll see your high spots. So we'll basically use 1 towel to buff it off to start with, and then the 2nd one just to make sure we didn't miss any areas. And God, already you can just feel how slick it is. It's so good, so good. So again, we'll wipe it off with our 1st towel. Now you'll probably use a couple of towels each, so you basically want to do a good job of using each quarter of the towel. But yeah, this paint is super slick already. It's so good. This is why this is my favorite part of detailing a car. It is just so slippery. Now that we've wiped it off, the last thing we want to do is just to go around and make sure that with the light, we haven't missed any high spots. If you don't have a light like this, you can just do your best to use your lights in your garage, but I do recommend purchasing something like this. It does make the job a lot easier. Make sure you don't miss any of those spots. But we are looking pretty good. Okay, I'm going to work through this layer for the rest of the car. I'm basically going to let it cure overnight. Classic, raining outside. If you watch my other videos, this is just the norm. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing the rest of the car off camera. Going to basically cover everything. Going to all the rubber trim and things we're just going to coat. It makes them come out really good, so we're going to do that. We're going to leave it. Some people will leave it for an hour and then put exo straight over the top. I like leaving it a day, so we'll come back once we've coated the whole car in CSL. We'll come back tomorrow, do our top layer of exo, and then we'll be good to go. And this car is just, the exterior of this car at least is going to be absolutely dialed. Okay, next day, time to put on our coat of exo. Yeah, we're about 24, maybe just over 24 hours since we put on the crystal serum light, so we'll put on one coat of our exo and then the whole car is coated, and I guess then ready to get stuck to the interior, which I'm stoked, real good. Like, you'll notice even after the crystal serum light of how smooth the paint feels. It's just magic. Nothing's going to want to stick to it. And giving it this extra layer of, basically exo is really, like, water really hates it, so it's really hydrophobic. So again, it's just going to make that washing so much easier. Dirt's not going to stick to it, and it's just awesome. So we'll go ahead and put on a few drops on our applicator, and then get stuck in. Same, pretty similar process to the crystal serum light. One thing to note is that because we have that first layer down, it is going to try to reject the exo a little bit. So you can spend a little bit more time with this trying to work it into the paint. You're still going to have plenty of flash time, so there's no real issues with being scared to wipe it off in time. But yeah, with this we're just going to spend a little bit extra working it in. And again, you'll start to see the applicator run dry when you need to apply. Because with this because we're spending a little bit more time trying to work it into the paint, we're going to wipe it off a little bit faster. So I think last time I would have done the whole, well, half the bonnet before wiping it off. Our section is going to be a little bit smaller, just because we're trying to work it in a bit more, spending a bit more time. But otherwise, that is basically us for the car. Yep, so that's that sort of one section, buffing it off, making sure so buffing it off is going to be the exact same as it was for the crystal serum light. We're going to use 2 towels, one for the initial wipe off, making sure we overlap the areas, make sure there's nothing hanging off the edges. Second towel, just really finish it off, and you'll start seeing the shininess of this paint now with these 2 coatings. It is just magic. Like, it's seriously exciting stuff. It's so freaking good. Awesome. So yeah, not too much really different than the last coating, except just putting a little bit more extra time into it. Yeah, basically I'm going to cover everything in exo, the whole car, the trims again, the roof, side panels, mirrors, everything. Exo can go on all of it. It'll make it all come up really nice. So yeah, I'm just going to work through the car for the next, it'll take about 45 minutes. And then we'll show you the finished result. But yeah, man, it's such a good feeling to have this all done. It's yeah, you'll see in a second when I show you, but man, it is just awesome. So we'll see in a bit. Okay, so that's it for the coating video. Yeah, man, like the hours that we put into this thing, And for it to come up this good is, yeah, it's such a good feeling. I mean, you just have to feel how smooth that feels now, how good it looks. Yeah, it's all the pain is worth it. It is seriously good. If you haven't thought about coating your car, I seriously would. It is super rewarding. It is so good. I can't wait to wash it just to see the water behavior come off it, because it's just so slick. There's no chance water's sticking to it. But thanks for following the series. We've got some, I mean, the exterior's done-ish. Now it's ready to get moving on to the next couple of steps. Got a few exciting things coming. So we're talking interior, we're talking a couple of little bits. So as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.